Okay, here we go. I want to thank you all for coming out here today to PS24, and I want to thank the principal for opening up her school to us just to display what we can do in the event of a hurricane. This is a designated evacuation center. That's why we chose this location. You can see some of the things that we would put in this school if it was activated. June 1st is the start of hurricane season here in the Atlantic area. Generally speaking, the New York area doesn't get hit quite that early, more towards August, but we felt it was important to come out here as early as we can to get our important message out to the New York City residents about how to be ready. So before I go into how to be ready and what to do, I'd like to bring on Dr. Jason Tuell. He's the director of the National Weather Service here in the Eastern region. He covers 21 states. He's a very busy man, and we want to thank him for coming up here this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Today, NOAA released the official hurricane outlook for this season, and we're predicting a 70% chance of a below normal season. What that means is we're anticipating about 6 to 11 named storms, which have winds of 39 miles or higher. 3 to 6 could be hurricanes, and 0 to 2 could become major hurricanes, that is Category 3 or greater. There is a 20% chance of a below normal, of a normal season, and 10% chance of an above normal season. Now, what this means in reality is it only takes one storm to really put you at risk. So don't focus on the fact that we're anticipating a below normal season. It's that one storm you have to look out for. For instance, in 1992, that was a below normal season, only had 7 named storms. Hurricane Andrew, which I think most people remember, devastated South Florida. That was the first storm of the season. With hurricanes comes a threat of storm surge. 50% of the fatalities in hurricanes occur with storm surge. 25% of the fatalities occur with inland flooding. Another threat from hurricanes is tornadoes. Every hurricane that has occurred has had at least one recorded tornado and the rain bands associated with it. So the threat to people with hurricanes is primarily storm surge, but inland flooding can't be discounted. NOAA is rolling out some new products and services this year. We've upgraded the model. It's going to run the HWRF model, the Hurricane Weather Research and Forecasting Model. Runs at 2 kilometers. We have a new storm surge graphic product that will actually give the 90% chance of depth of inundation above ground level, and this can be combined with the coastal zone information from the department, the OEM here. So it's very important to stay on top of that. The primary thing to really focus on, when you have bad weather, we update the forecast at least every 6 hours. Don't get fixated on one particular forecast. You have to stay vigilant, stay aware, stay on top of the situation, and above all, be ready to listen to the emergency managers and do what they tell you to do. So with that, Commissioner Esposito, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc. So below normal, huh? I'm going to hold you to that, all right? We'll see. We'll see. All right, thank you, Doc. So now how to get ready. There's 3 really things you need to do. It's know your zone, your evacuation zone, make a plan, and stay informed. If you do those 3 key things, then you can be affected as least as possible by a storm. When you talk about know your zone, we're talking about the 6 hurricane evacuation zones that we have here in New York. Now, it's important you know what zone you're in. You may be asked to evacuate that zone. If you're asked to evacuate, we really expect you to do that. It's very, very important. I think we learned a very serious lesson after Sandy. 40-some-odd deaths. I think there would have been a lot fewer deaths if people would have evacuated in a more timely fashion. So if we ask you to evacuate, evacuate. How do you know what zone you're in? Very, very easy. Go to nyc.gov/knowyourzone. You punch in your address, and you'll tell you what zone you're in. You can call 311. Very easy. It's important to know what zone you're in. If you go on the street right now and ask folks what zone they live in, they'll have no idea, the vast majority. It's very important that you get out there and get this message out. And by the way, everything we're talking about today is available in 13 different languages and in an audio format. Everything that we put out. So roughly speaking, there's about 3 million people in New York, New Yorkers, that live in the city's 6 hurricane zones. So to encourage people to know what zone they're in and to be prepared for an event, we have launched the 2015 Know Your Zone ad campaign. That's these ads back here. This is not enough. A life ring is not enough if there's a hurricane. So you're going to see these out in bus stations. You'll see them in the newspapers. You'll see them online. And we encourage, the message is it's encouraging people to do what we just said. So that's why we're launching this campaign. Our second part, again, know your zone. Secondly, make a plan. Now's the time to make your plan. You don't wait until the rain starts to say, okay, what do I do now? You want to be able to say, I know what to do now when it starts raining. You need to do that. You need to get a go bag. We have them on display here. What a go bag is, if you do have to leave your house in a rush, you don't want to start looking around for your car keys, the spare set of glasses, your medication. You get this go bag, you put it by the door, put it by the place you're going to leave, and when you go, you take it with you. Medicine, important paperwork, again, spare set of keys, a flashlight. We have a whole list here on what you should have in that go bag. And that really should be really fine-tuned to your special needs. If you have a pet you're going to take with you, you might want to put some kind of snack in there for the pet. So again, a go bag is very important. You also have supplies in your home. There are times when it may be necessary to shelter in place. If you have to shelter in place, you should have at least 3 days worth of food and supplies, medicine in your house in case you're asked to shelter in place, or you're trapped in your house. You want to have 3 days of that. You need to know where to go. Again, you got to know what zone you're in, and you want to have a plan to where you're going to evacuate to. All things being perfect, you'd like to go to a family member's house, a friend's house, someone who has a place out of the zones. But if that's not available and you have to leave, that's what we have here. We have the evacuation centers here. We have 64 around the city that are called evacuation centers. We can actually shelter up to 600 shelters if we had to. So it's important that you know your zone, where your evacuation centers are, and very importantly, we ask you to evacuate. We can supply necessary items at these centers for 70,000 people for 7 days. Sounds like a lot, but when 3 million people live in evacuation zones, that 7-day supply can go pretty quick. We have a plan to replenish it, though. So we think we're ready in case we have to use evacuations. Also, part of being ready is to have a written family plan. You need to have a plan in that go bag. We help you do that. We have the Ready New York program where we can show you how to make a plan so that if something does happen, you know what to do and how to do it. It's a written pamphlet. It's in the back. It's also an app on your phone where you can fill it out. And we developed it so that you can develop a custom plan for you and your loved ones in the event you have to leave. You know, things like where to meet. You leave your house, you can't get in touch with the relatives, or you have a pre-designated location where you're going to meet. Important contact numbers, your doctor's numbers, medication, prescriptions, things of that nature, who to call in emergency. All of that is in the Ready New York pamphlet, and we encourage the public to use that. Finally, it's very important, very, very important to stay informed. Again, know what zone you're in, that's part of the information, but to be aware of the latest information. As the doctor said, the weather reports come in every 6 hours. We'll put that out. How do we put that out? Weather conditions, citywide alerts. You can sign up for a program that we have. It's called Notify NYC. It gives you updates on emergencies, information on those emergencies, and it can be tailor-made to certain areas that you're concerned about, where you live, where you work, or you can get it the whole city on the alert system. How do you get it? nyc.gov/notify-NYC. It goes through emails, texts, on your phone, or through Twitter. I encourage everybody to have that. So, just to recap, know your zone, have a plan, make a plan, and stay informed. I want to thank you all, my staff for being out here, did a great job setting this up. I encourage you to walk around, see what we have out here. Doctor, thank you for coming out, and hopefully we'll all be a little bit better prepared this hurricane season. Thank you so much. Questions? Great. Have a nice day.